As the new Warden Commander of Ferelden, it is your responsibility to rebuild the Order and deal with the lingering threat. You have come to Amaranthi to join the rest of the Grey Wardens at Vigil's Keep, once home to Arl Rendenhau, but now property of the Order. The lack of a proper welcoming party as you grow close, however, indicates that something is amiss.
Dragon Age Origins Awakening is an old-fashioned expansion pack that harks back to the days when add-ons were just more of a good thing and offered more than just an hour or two of gameplay. And when a game is as good as Dragon Age is, more of a good thing is always welcome. Awakening isn't as special as the main game. The story isn't that great, and the new characters aren't nearly as interesting as the ones you grew to love before. There are also a few bugs you might run into. But in spite of some drawbacks, Awakening is a lot of fun, and it raises the level cap and adds new spells and skills and new specializations. And Ferelden is such a great place, so rich with adventure, that returning to it feels just like going home. From the outset, you have a choice. Import a character from Dragon Age, or build a new level 18 character from scratch. Either way, you begin your adventure near the fortress of Vigil's Keep, where the Darkspawn threat hasn't dissipated. In fact, you run into a talking Darkspawn, which is an unusual thing in and of itself. Who's leading these creatures? It's your goal to find out and eliminate the source of the new threat. Along the way, you'll pick up some party members. One of them is an old friend, but the rest are new.
I will follow you. You seem an all-right sort, and I'll be better off with you at my back than alone. Let's go then. The Darkspawn await.
You speak often of bodily functions.
Not half as often as they happen.
The banter between them can be great, but Awakening characters like Anders and Justice just don't hold a candle to Dragon Age characters like Alistair and Morrigan. And the rite of conscription is evoked so casually and so often in Awakening that neither the joining nor the Grey Wardens seem all that special anymore. But there are some cool story highlights, like an interesting visit to the Fade, a family conflict, and your first glimpses of the evil lurking behind the scenes. It's a decent story, it just doesn't come close to the original. Luckily, everything else is of the high quality you'd expect from Dragon Age. There are tough choices to make in which lives hang in the balance, including a couple of memorable damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of moments. All the areas are new, and developer BioWare has paid closer attention to the art design. Several of the new locations are moody and darkly lit, which adds a nice sense of mystery and atmosphere. And of course, there's the action. Awakening isn't as challenging as Dragon Age was at release, but it's still full of enjoyable and colorful action that will keep your fingers busy on the mouse and keyboard. Highlights include a tough battle against two young dragons at once, and an even tougher final boss battle that's much more fun to take on than the main game's end boss. In other words, Awakening is a lot of fun, and while the action hasn't really changed, that's a really wonderful thing. It wasn't broken, and thankfully, no one tried to fix it. There are some nice additions to the formula, however. There are 3 new skill chains: Runecrafting, Vitality, and Clarity. Runecrafting works like making poisons and traps. You just collect the right ingredients and combine them into a fancy new rune that you can slot into a weapon or your armor. Vitality and Clarity are passive bonuses to your health or your mana or stamina. And each class has 2 new specializations that come with new spells and more options to play around with. You can use these new spells and skills against new enemies called the Children, which come in a few different forms. There are new items as well, like stamina droughts that let your warriors and rogues replenish their stamina quickly. And of course, new characters mean new relationships to cultivate.
Thank the Maker you arrived.
So there aren't many surprises in store for you, and a few visual bugs can get a little distracting. But Dragon Age Origins Awakening is great in spite of its flaws. You get around 15 hours of play, give or take, so at $40, it isn't the incredible value Dragon Age Origins was. Yet it's still a worthwhile investment for the pure role-playing joy and flexibility that it offers. The combat is as fun and flashy as always, new spells and talents expand your horizons, and several tough fights will test your abilities. In other words, it's time to head back to Ferelden.